Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Laverne Herbert. To my left is Esme Williams. To her left is Shelly Griffin. Then we have Alan Smith and Linda Hodge. And we are part of a group of people who are opposed to the EPA's plan for Shelly Bay Beach. Cheryl Ann has come up with an alternate plan that today she is going to share with the public for the first time. So I'll let Cheryl Ann speak now.
Good afternoon, everyone. We, the residents of Hamilton Parish and frequenters of Shelly Bay Beach, present a plan for Shelly Bay Beach that we feel would be suitable for the entire Shelly Bay Beach and park areas. We believe that this plan would be more appropriate for Shelly Bay as it functions in the community for residents and visitors, and would enhance the experience of residents and visitors alike as they use Shelly Bay Beach and Park throughout the year. It is our view that Bermuda would benefit from a beach that is accessible to all Bermudians and to all visitors. And to this end, we are proposing that the recovered free area, once occupied by the demolished building at Shelly Bay Beach, is the ideal area to be used to enhance the beach experience for residents and visitors who are physically and visually challenged, as well as the infirm elderly population. We are therefore requesting that the government give serious consideration to this alternative vision and plan for Shelly Bay Beach. We base this request on the following. Bermuda does not have an intentional handicapped accessible beach. Physically and visually challenged residents from Hamilton Parish and beyond have expressed the desire to have a beach accessible for reaching the water and swimming. Some have not been able to touch the sea for up to 12 years, as my neighbor, who is wheelchair bound, who would love to get to the beach, or a young friend of mine who has become disabled, who the beach and has to scoot into the water, or to a young man from the extended care unit whose 6 friends made an accompaniment for him to be able to reach the water by carrying him in a sheet. First of all, the shallow and safe waters of Shelly Bay are ideal for the access of the physically and visually handicapped. The area can easily be improved and beautified with a few shade trees and small hedgings along the North Shore roadside. The area can be presented to the public as a supportive, handicapped, accessible small park adjoining and overlooking the rest of Shelly Bay Beach. This same area can also be used throughout the year with its newly acquired view that everyone loves as an unobstructed sanctuary by the sea for relaxation by the general public. There is ease of access. The area has the situation for an ideal driveway right off North Shore Road that, with minimum construction, can be made safely level to the new park for the delivery and pickup of the physically and visually impaired and the infirm elderly. There is ease of modification. The surface of the area can be easily modified from its present state to a hard surface that will accommodate wheelchairs, walkers, and canes. There is ease of assistance. Identified appropriate fittings can be easily installed, leading from this area in order to assist the infirm elderly, the physically challenged, and the visually impaired to the water, into the water, and from the water. Some examples of these fittings are the copyrighted blue Moby mat, which is used for the physically challenged, but is specific in color for the visually impaired. Other copyrighted examples are called Rec Path and Access Met. These are easily positioned, leading from the new park area and just as easily removed when necessary. Other examples of easily placed and removed fittings for the physically challenged and the visually impaired are sensory rails and the Moby Chair floating beach wheelchair. Additionally, in order to, again, accommodate all of our beaching locals and visitors, we are requesting that the Ministry of Works and Engineering install proper and suitable toilet facilities at the Shelly Bay Beach and Park. These would include at least one handicapped accessible stall. This is something that has not been mentioned at all in the beach economy vision for Shelly Bay Park. There are beaches around the world where such areas are made available with appropriate fittings that will accommodate those who love to swim but are unable to get to the sea without assistance. A few examples of this growing number can be found at Wasaga Beach in Ontario, Manly Beach in Australia, and several U.S. states, including Virginia, California, Florida, South Carolina, and Georgia. It would be a first and commendable move by Bermuda, and the Shelly Bay Beach community would welcome the implementation of this plan rather than the unfavorable one put forward by the Bermuda Tourism Authority. We, the residents of Hamilton Parish and frequenters of Shelly Bay Beach, present this plan for Shelly Bay Beach publicly, as we have not to date been given the opportunity to have our ideas for the enhancement of Shelly Bay Beach and Park heard or considered. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes. So is your position that Shelly Bay Beach as it stands is just not accessible to those with various disabilities?
It is not. As I mentioned, I have a neighbor and I have a friend who find it very difficult to get into the water.
So you mentioned the various issues.
On that, I understand that at one point,
You don't have the mic.
I understand that at one point when Derek Burgess was the Minister of Works and Engineering, he had wheelchairs, ramps installed in a few beaches, and one of those beaches was Shelly Bay Beach, but that has now disappeared. I don't know what happened to it, but it was there.
I wanted to ask, there's one question to Mrs. Griffith, is it?
Yes.
So do you accept that if the government makes these proposed adjustments to Shelly Bay, that they'll have to make the same ones at other beaches around the whole country?
I think that Shelly Bay could be the first, and what happens after that would be up to the government. But I think that the space that is at Shelly Bay right now that is empty, that was once occupied by the building, as it stands right now, is ideal and very easily adapted to make accessible for the handicapped in any way to get into the water, not just to the beach, because there are concrete ramps that are there that can get as far as the top of the beach. But this is talking about not just getting to the beach, but getting from the beach, from that top area, into the water.
May I add?
Sure.
Okay. Shelly Bay Beach is a very unique beach. There is no other in Bermuda as that. And for those persons who are wheelchair bound, or myself, with a low vision or limited vision, it would assist us. We're not looking to have this at every beach. If Shelly Bay Beach is a unique beach that can accommodate this with its low tide, its easy access to the water, the safety that's there, the level that the tides come in, that's why we wanted a unique beach area for those persons who have those type of challenges. So we're not asking this to be at every beach. We want Shelly Bay Beach because how it lends itself to that.
Next question.
Mm-hmm.
Sally from the Royal Gazette. It's very encouraging that you are making a beach, or putting proposals forward for people with disabilities. It's definitely encouraging. They're not the easiest places to access. But my question is, what's to stop an amalgamation of the two plans where you have wheelchair access, you can get people into the water, but also there's amenities and there's food for those people who desire it?
The specific area that we are talking about is the area where the BTA planned to put 3 repurposed containers. And that area, as we said, is ideal for making it handicapped accessible. We have no problem with the beach vision as it is, but at Shelly Bay Beach and the way Shelly Bay Beach is used for the community, those containers on the beach would take up very precious space. Plus, we have no objection to having something like 1 lunch cart up on the park area. But we feel 3 containers with 4 businesses is very overwhelming for that area.
Did they say that they wanted to have them all there at the same time, or wasn't it on a rotational basis?
Yeah.
At the same time.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time.
So you would be
we would be amenable
maybe having one
to a lunch wagon up on the park area.
What about using one of the containers? So that they've already suggested using one container instead of a lunch wagon or something.
Well, apparently they have, and you'll see on Thursday night, they have 1 lunch wagon, smoking barrel that's going to be there. And then they have another
A deli.
deli type restaurant that's going to be in the container. So apparently they intend to have 2 food vendors on the beach. And we are definitely opposed to any commercialization of the beach itself. Any.
But you are happy with a very small amount of food?
We would not mind a lunch wagon or food truck, they call them now. Not at all. But not all of those other things.
For the
No
container,
beach. No, and no beach rentals. No.
Nothing on the beach, the lower beach area, which is very well used by the residents, and we have visitors that stop by all of the time. We oppose any concessions on that lower beach area.
Yeah, the BTO did release something saying, I can't remember the exact percentage, 67 or 68% of people were, don't quote me on that, in favour of these types of concessions. Do you feel that their voices might not be heard?
The BTA stated that they had surveyed thousands of visitors and hundreds of Bermudians. And 67% of them said that they wanted amenities on the beach. First of all, it was a very generic survey. Nothing specified Shelly Bay Beach. We are not here to be against the beach vision, the BTA beach vision. What we are saying is that that beach vision cannot be accommodated at Shelly Bay Beach. It's not an appropriate beach. They chose Shelly Bay Beach. Shelly Bay Beach wasn't chosen by those thousands of visitors and hundreds of Bermudians. And just like they chose it, we feel that they can unchoose it and stick with 4 designated beaches or find another 5th where they do not infringe on the freedom and the safety and the serenity of the population that already uses Shelly Bay Beach. There's also a cultural aspect at Shelly Bay Beach, where Bermudians traditionally exercise their beach culture, bringing their own food, bringing their own equipment. It's very well used. Today, there are lots of school children, summer camp children, they're using the beach. This would all infringe on the freedom that they have with their beaching activity and their swimming activity.
I meant to put something to you that I didn't last time. That was I hear what your group is saying, you don't want the beach to be commercialized in any way, but I've heard from many people who have said, well, the beach was already commercialized for many years with that old building there which sold food and different things. So why are you saying you don't want it to be commercialized when it was already that way for years?
There was a
Go ahead.
okay. There was a building there. I've been in Shelly Bay for 40 years. There was a building there, and several businesses have passed through that building, none of which were successful, and none of which catered to the beach patrons. At one time, there was a concession at the bottom that served ice cream and drinks that may have lasted for 1 or 2 years at the most. The bathrooms that were there were never maintained, never functioned well. But so essentially, we won't miss what we never had. There really was never a successful beach concession at Shelly Bay. There was never really a concession or business at Shelly Bay that catered to beachgoers. The building was also used by social services. And it was also once upon a time used by a nursery school. So, as I said, people who go to Shelly Bay Beach, people who are from Hamilton Parish, will not miss what they didn't have because it never functioned.
Any more questions?
Yeah.
It can go on.
What's that?
Oh, okay.
Can I say something?
Yeah. Very quickly, because
Okay. Yeah, good day to the press. The only successful business at that restaurant area you're talking about, the building, was, what was that, in the 80s, was Captain Ruda's. Captain Ruda's, and that was a seafood place, and they didn't really cater to the beach people. But they could cater to beach people. But it was like a nightclub and the like. But it wasn't basically for the beach.
obviously wasn't that successful because it didn't last long.
It was Rudy's, but he was successful while he was there.
It was a dinner restaurant.
Okay, thank you all for